Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
We are looking ahead to this Sunday, February 22, 2026. All eyes on Lille.
That's right, France versus Italy in the Six Nations. And on the surface, you see France coming off this, massive win against Wales. But the sources we're digging into, they're painting a much more complicated picture.
They really are. They're basically warning that France could be walking right into a trap against what they're calling a hugely improved Italian side.
It's the absolute classic danger game, isn't it?
Totally. France is flying high, full of confidence, but the data on Italy, this isn't the team of old. They can genuinely threaten the heavyweights, and they do it through their set piece.
And that creates this fascinating tension for Fabien Galthié's selection. If you want to stay ahead of these tactical shifts, by the way, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession.
You really should. So the mission for this deep dive, then, is to try and predict how Galthié solves that puzzle.
It's a balancing act.
Exactly. He's got a backline that just delivered, a barrage of champagne rugby, but at the same time, he needs to bulk up his pack to survive Italy's scrum.
Okay, let's start with that back line, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Seems like the only way to go here.
I think so. The metrics from that Wales game were just, absurd. Meters made, line breaks. You just don't mess with that kind of flow.
And the sources agree. Galthié is expected to reward that form.
He is. And the anchor to all of it seems to be that midfield partnership, Fabien Galthié and Emilien Gaëtan.
Right, and it's not just that they're playing well. It's that club connection from POW that the reports are really highlighting.
That's the key, that chemistry. It's so evident in the way they play off each other. They both scored tries at the Principality, and it just looked telepathic.
Because they train together every day.
Yeah, and that understanding lets the wingers, Thomas Ramos, Theo Atasogbe, and Louis Bielbière, it lets them play with so much more freedom.
It's a whole cohesive unit. Which, speaking of, brings us to the halfbacks, Antoine Dupont and Matthieu Jalibert.
No changes expected there. They controlled that game against Wales perfectly.
Now, I did notice that Maxime Lucu is back to full fitness, which, usually sparks a bit of a debate. But with Dupont and Jalibert firing like this, surely Lucu has to settle for the bench.
I think the consensus is yes. Lucu becomes this incredible impact player you can bring on. You don't break up that Dupont-Jalibert axis just to accommodate him, not when it's clicking like this.
That bench impact is going to be so vital. And look, if you're enjoying this kind of squad analysis, just take a second to hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession. It helps us a lot.
It really does.
Okay, so we have to pivot to the pack now. This is where the strategy goes from rewarding form to something very different.
To countering the threat. This is the crux of the whole match. The source material describes Italy's scrum as, and I'm quoting here, a genuinely elite unit.
Wow.
We saw them tear Ireland apart in the set piece. You can't just send out the same agile pack you used against Wales. You have to add some serious ballast.
So he's fighting fire with mass, essentially.
That's the idea. And the big projection is a return to their heaviest lock combination possible. Thibaut Flament and Emmanuel Mefou.
The test the waters strategy.
You bring in Flament and Mefou, you add a huge amount of weight to the engine room, but that forces a reshuffle elsewhere, right?
Of course, because you need your line-out options. And that explains why they're predicting Charles Ollivon shifts back to flanker.
Exactly. It accommodates the two big locks, but you still get to keep Ollivon's aerial game, with Jalanche and Cross rounding out that back row. It's a pragmatic, smart reshuffle.
But the boldest call might be up front. The sources are pointing to Régis Montaigne maybe getting the start at tight head.
Over Dorian Aldeguerre, yeah. That one jumped out at me too.
Aldeguerre's been so solid. So moving him to the bench feels like a very specific tactical decision. The reports are framing it as laying down a marker.
It's all about scrummaging aggression. It's not that Aldeguerre is being axed. It's not a punishment. It's a sign of immense respect for Gonzalo Quesada's Italian pack.
Galthié is basically admitting that if they don't win that collision area from the first whistle, that beautiful champagne backline
Never even sees the ball. It's a massive compliment to Italy, saying, we have to change our entire physical approach just to survive you.
And that's the big takeaway, isn't it? France is tailoring their physical composition to handle an Italian set piece.
It speaks volumes about how the Six Nations is evolving.
So it sets up this brilliant contrast. Speed in the backs, brute force up front. We want to know what you think. Is this heavy pack the right call? Or does it risk making France too slow? Let us know in the comments.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. If Italy actually manages to neutralize this beefed up French pack, what's plan B? It's going to be a fascinating watch.
Make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss our review of whether this whole gamble paid off. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.